up there. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Kanipo Makwa, Standing Bear, Southern Tribe, Fishing Lake First Nations, Saskatchewan, Canada, Treaty 4 Territory, Anishinaabe, 60 Scoop Survivor, published author, two-time United States Swimming National Champion. Welcome to We Are the Medicine Circle, which really implies that we are the medicine circle. In fact, that's what we're going to talk about that today in the reading. And you guys always make this suggestion. We are going over Whispers from the Hollow Bone, September 29th. So that's part of my notes. So anyway, that's what we're going over. This is. And if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much, which really simply means that I want you to live a really good life, connected to all those things that give us a good life. You connect to that, you connect to us. That's the beautiful thing. So those things that give us life are like fire, water, air, earth kind of thing, you know, and all those other beautiful medicines that we are a part of. Again, we're going to go over that today. From the Hollow Bone, September 29th. So thank you for that suggestion. A little course correction. So we're not. Apparently, people felt like it was a last minute kind of thing. So thank you for that. Okay. Couple of housekeeping things. If there is, we are on two platforms. So we are over here. So when you see me looking over here like this, I'm looking at two phones. It's kind of like this. So I'm going back and forth. We are on YouTube, Standing Bear, the author. So some people don't like the Facebook platform. I get that. It's real skittish in its connection. Sometimes the audio, there's an audio lag. Sometimes there's a visual lag. Somebody gets frozen. If we do get frozen here on Facebook, for the most part, I will hit the play button. We will pick up right where we left off. This is for the benefit of the Facebookers. We will pick up right where we left off, and we will finish out the hour-ish. So yeah. Also, you guys keep asking about the 30-day challenge. The 30-day challenge is also on my YouTube page. It's what I think, you know what? Right. So it's how we offer what we offer. It's how we begin our day. So tag list also. We do have a new tag list out there. So but we have like 160 people on it. So if I don't get around to you every day, that's the reason. Also, if you are getting a lot of notifications, which I know you are, this is for the benefit of the Facebookers. There's 3 dots right here. Just hit those 3 dots. There's a drop down that says turn off notifications. So that's enough. That's enough of that. Okay. Health. Just kind of like a update on Standing Bear's health. I found a couple of lumps and had to get them looked at yesterday. It's kind of like when women find a lump on their breast. Well, I found something, and I went yesterday. A little sense of urgency, you know, a little sense of urgency, because there is pain associated with it. So it's so Anyway, went to the doctors. They sent me right over to the ER, and I spent the day in the hospital yesterday, and they did a CT scan. They did a blood test and a bunch of other tests, and um, they found two masses. They think it's like a cyst. So we are awaiting more tests. So anyway, they sent me home. We're gonna have an ultrasound later this week, and we'll find out. Probably surgery will be needed, you know, in the upcoming months or something like that. So probably sooner the better. That's what I told the doctor. Well, I'd like to get this resolved as quick as possible, right? So, but anyway, thank you to all the doctors and nurses out there yesterday. Took good care of me yesterday. Thank you everybody for your ongoing prayers. Just keeping no fear. It is what it is, and just say, hey, look, okay, I will offer you some prayer. So that's it. A little tobacco offering. Just include me in your morning prayers, health and safety. Yeah. That is that. All right. And if no one said that they love you today, I love you very much. Also, actually, this was kind of a message from you yesterday, kind of along the same lines. Not trying to be morbid or dark. Not trying to be morbid or dark, but this is something that this is Grandfather Tonyism. So Grandfather Tony said, um, we're not looking for students. That was that conversation. So I added followers and fame or something like that. But I'm not looking for fame, fortune, followers, anything like that. We as indigenous people, we are looking as healers. We are looking for replacements. So you make that. That simply means that you carry what we do here. This ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you. That's to remind you to carry the medicine that is right here, right now. Right. That means take this with you. That's what that means. It doesn't mean you have to do everything that I do, but it means carry the medicine that is flowing through. And remember, it's not flowing through me, it's flowing through us. So we have to remember that we're part of this beautiful, powerful, awesome circle. Okay, all right, let's get started here. Let's get started in the usual way. I know some people out there have already lighted that smudge, that sage, whatever you. Again, there was a comment yesterday. I was sitting in the hospital yesterday, and said, "Does it have to be?" I noticed you use white California sage, and no, it does not have to be that. It's what I have. I get gifted a lot of things, and they gift me a lot of sage. And it's primarily California white. But the important thing is, if you come from a particular tradition, I'm not suggesting that you use anything other than that. But what I'm saying is, well, let's use something. Up at Fishing Lake, we use sweetgrass. If there's some tribes out on the West Coast that use cedar, that's fine too. It's important that we use that we smudge every morning. Just kind of cleans up everything. To me, it's more about bringing focus, right? It really focuses. It just feels like home, right? So anyway, let's keep let us keep the prayer of the grandmother going. Remember, I spoke to her last week, by the way. I get the warm and fuzzies, like when they reach out to me. So last week I got the warm and fuzzies, and so she reached out to me, and so she appreciated that. She appreciated that we're keeping this prayer going. So let's keep this prayer going, the smoke going throughout the morning circle. That's what we mean. So in remembrance for the residential school children that never made it home. And I spoke to her last weekend, and I said, can we add because we don't want to change, the elder's prayer. So I just suggested, hey, can we add the families? And she said absolutely. So the families too that are also still in mourning. So let's please do that. Couple volunteers, please give me a heart, little thumbs up if you can keep that prayer going, please, and thank you. Okay, so let's do this opening prayer. As Grandfather Tony, my elder, said, if it doesn't begin with spirit, then it doesn't begin. If it doesn't begin with prayer, then it doesn't begin. And the only thing I would add, if it doesn't begin with offering, then it really doesn't begin. So it's a physical or spiritual. That's that. So, little help from above, little help from below. Amen. To all my relations, Kitchi Manitou, Great Spirit, Creator, Great Mystery, Chi Meg Witch for our breath, Chi Meg Witch for our circle, Chi Meg Witch for our day, Chi Meg Witch for our life. We are grateful for our last breath, and we are hopeful for our next, and we live in that place in between. We come here in circle. We mean no harm in what we do. We come here in accordance with spiritual law, which means that we align ourselves with those things that bring us life. And so we are grateful and happy. We are grateful to know there's a safe place for us to go and to sit. And we thank the great Creator providing this space for us. We may come here for many reasons, but the first reason always is life. And it's not just our life, because that would be selfish. That means all life. Especially the life of those, we celebrate those who do not look like the two-legged, like the standing nations, the ones that offer the world breath. We say thank you. To the swimming nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the water. To the winged nations, the ones who teach us how to live in harmony and balance with the wind and air. To the creepy crawlies and the slitheries, the ones who teach us how to stay close and grounded to Mother Earth, we say thank you. To the four-legged communities, all nations, circles, and tribes in that community, those communities, we give great thanks, because we know that you teach us and offer us so much about our humanity. We are better because of you. And of course, to all other two-legged nations, circles, and tribes, we understand that you are our teachers as well. This makes our ears and our hearts very happy. We come here and we celebrate those things that give us life: air, water, fire, earth. We celebrate the 7 directions because we understand that life and love and light come from every direction. We come here and we thank the ancestors, the ones who have come before us. And remember, if they are our relatives here, which they all are, they are our ancestors over there. That means the first wolf, first beaver, the first bear, and the first eagle. All these, they are our direct ancestors. And that is powerful and beautiful. And we also understand that some of our two-legged ancestors were hurt, wounded, abused, and traumatized, and they passed that along to us. We acknowledge this. We acknowledge this pain and this suffering and the trauma. But we also acknowledge this is a time and place and circle for healing. And we also acknowledge during this time of healing and this process of healing, it's okay not to be okay. But we also acknowledge at some point we realize that their pain And their wounds were not for us to carry, but for us to heal from. And not in a selfish way, but so we don't carry it to the next seven generations. For we only borrow this earth from our children, and our children are only loaned to us. So we live in the intersection between two unseen worlds. They hear and see, feel everything that we do. Every intention, every prayer, every action that we do. Let us be mindful of this. Let's be mindful of the words we say and how we say them to each other. Let's include everybody in our loving voice. Let's remember that we are part of a much larger sacred hoop, much larger than the human two-legged nation. And our ancestors, the ones who walked in a really good and beautiful way, they left a trail for us to follow, a well-worn trail. It is wide, broad, and roomy. There's room for everyone here. But the beautiful thing is, we can only see it with our hearts. That means we see it with an intention to heal. That's the only way that we can see it. Prayerfully is how we see this beautiful road, the red road, the road of wellness, the road of all people, the road of the sacred hoop, the road that brings everybody together equally. This is our path, and this is our journey. And on this journey, on this road, on this path, there are teachings on this path. Humility, love, truth, honesty, respect, wisdom, and courage. One for each 7 directions. 7 sacred directions have a sacred law, an agreement with that. That's why we must honor all life in all directions. So let us make good relations with all directions and with all teachings that will bring us a good life. We are here to make good relations, maintain good relations. Without it, we have nothing. Without it, I don't have you, and you can't see me, I can't hear you, and then we're stuck. Humanity is tired of being stuck now, so let's move on in a good way. Let us remember why we're here, to honor all directions and all teachings. Maybe a little later on we'll begin to hear and understand the first prayer at the center of the universe, the one of harmony and balance. That is from the first fire, and the first fire is given to us right here. So let's remember why we're here. We're here to be the peacemakers. We are here to align ourselves with harmony and balance. We are here to carry this message out to those who can't or won't or don't know. And we do this in a gentle way with kind words, kind actions. It is a gentleness that is our superpower. So we come here today, let's honor all these ancient agreements. Oh, all right. All right. Okay, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Kanipo Makwa, Standing Bear. Honor for me to sit here with you. And again, I'm in the service of this circle. Really no other place that I'd rather be right now than sitting here with you. And actually, we got a bunch of new people in the circle. So, if you're new here last couple of days, last couple of weeks, welcome. We love you. Thank you for joining us. This is a non-denominational. That was a question. Well, what denomination are you? Well, we are not. We're standing with everybody. That's a denomination, right? So please keep your questions as soon as time is coming. Blah blah blah. We'll talk about that a little later. So Hollow Bones. That's really why we're here. It's Hollow Bones. That the opening prayer was a connection to Hollow Bones. It is a Hollow Bones prayer. It is we connect to that life force, that life force. So the sunrise, the birds, the singing of the birds, and like all these beautiful things, we we connect to this. We connect to this. That's part one. Part two is, the colonial world really gets stuck on part one. So we and so if we get stuck on part one, that's a selfish thing to do. You know, that means I receive, then I won't what offer. So then the second part is, so we live a full life, a sacred life. That means we give prayers prayer. We give life life. That means we pray with and for those things that give us life, right? And all things give us life. In fact, we're going to talk more about that today in the reading. Today is a really beautiful reading. Um, and so that means we sit with the fire, we sit with the air, we sit with the water, we sit with Mother Earth, and that's just the beginning. And here it is. Write this down. I don't have my pen right here. Here's Ben. Write this down. Once we begin that, then we begin a process of this thing getting better, this life getting better, the healing. Everything that we see here is just different. We live in the same world, but then our perceptions, our connections are different. And like in other words, we get happy. We're supposed to be happy. That's why we're here. That was another question, which I think we covered the other day. Well, why are we here? Well, we're here to connect and be happy and share that, right? Which is something that we don't hear from the colonial world at all. We're here to suffer. We're here to do all this stuff. We're here to divide and conquer and win and do all this stuff, which really has nothing to do with humanity, right? Okay, so and also understand that hollow bones is a process. Write that down. There's no degree, there's no finish line, there's no graduation. This is a process. So allow this process to unfold, right? I've been doing this I've been living for 52 years now. So that's part of my process, right? So, but been walking the red road in earnest for 30 years. Well, maybe not in earnest. I kind of stumbled on it and said, well, this is really, really cool. And then I met Grandfather Tony, and it was real beautiful. So, anyway, just know that this is a process for all of us, right? So there's 20, 30 of us here, so between the two platforms. Just be gentle with ourselves. That's the real thing. In fact, we're gonna be talking about that more today. Ancestors and elders. So it's really traditional as Indigenous people of Turtle Island that we thank those that have come before us. So thank you to, again, Grandfather Tony Stonehawk. Been with him for 30 years. He sends you his love and light. So, I was talking to him the other day and said, well, we got this really cool thing. He says, okay, good. Been with him for 30 years. Thank you to all the men and women over at Fishing Lake, the Mushins and Cookums, who have guided me in a really good and beautiful way. Thank you to all those other men and women of medicine who have guided me in a really good and beautiful way throughout the years. Like it's a time of gratitude, right? We're here to celebrate life. Like without life, we have nothing, right? So just because we're breathing doesn't mean we're celebrating a good life. It means we're just here. But when we really celebrate that life, then this beautiful thing happens, right? So, okay, circle of medicine. Okay, no one is in front of us, no one's behind us, no one's above us, no one is below us. We are all equal here. This is what we look like here. So, YouTubers right here, this is what we look like. I can't see your name on YouTube, but this is what we are. There's 4 or 5 of us over there, 4 of us over there. So, this is what we look like. Facebookers, this is Tina, Kimberly, Julie, Nina, me. We are all intertwined and overlapping, and I think that's just beautiful, right? Right. That means we are all connected. That's what that means. And again, we're going to talk about that today in the reading. Also, you guys were really hammering me yesterday with that. It was like, okay, all right. So, Whispers from the Hollow Bone, September 29th. If someone could put that in the feed, that would be great. Okay. So, Circle Medicine, we're all equal, right? We're all equal, including the Sacred Feminine. We have to say this because the colonial world, and this is contrast medicine, this is not good or bad, right? Contrast medicine, that the colonial world marginalizes the sacred feminine, right? So what we do here, we begin by saying you are beautiful, powerful, and you are sacred, right? And there's no buts after that. There's no buts, right? There's no buts. And so it's really important that you understand that. But. And, there's a couple comments that say, well, but, what if, when, my ex-girlfriend, she's in jail right now. But no. She's a drug addict, she's drinking, but no. Sacred feminine, beautiful, powerful, and sacred. Let's start there. That's it. Right? And then we understand this beautiful process of healing. That's it. Right? We start throwing opinions and judgments, then that's a place of something else, and we don't want to go to that something else because it takes us out of the circle. We understand mistakes are made, but that doesn't mean that you are not any less sacred. That means we have to work towards this beautiful, beautiful place. We have to work toward, and so that's what we are the medicine. Really, that's it. That's why we're here. We open up and welcome to we are the medicine, which isn't me, although I got a cool shirt on. I like the shirt too. But it doesn't mean me. It means like love isn't about us. It's not about me. It is about us. That's what I mean. So. Okay, so question of the day. There's a couple questions here, and we're just going to run over. We're going to run over just because that's what we do. Haven't started yet. We're all going to. I love you guys. Please keep it. Well, a bunch of good questions here. And again, this is from our kind of recovery community type thing. So I love you guys. I'm with you guys. So please keep your questions and comments coming. I do not guarantee that I will get around to all of them. That's like the lawyer in me, because sometimes I miss one and sometimes so. But I will do the very best I can to answer as many as I can. So, okay. All right. So, blah, 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 blah. First one is, I'm in recovery. I love your podcast. It was a little back and forth. What is the program of recovery? What is the Red Road program of recovery? We do this every day. There isn't, although I'm writing one, right. What we do here, this is the program, and it's not really a program. It is the life of recovery. So that means, like, the colonial world really likes to section out, to divide. Okay, you need to be in recovery. You hear it in the rooms of recovery all the time. Okay, you're an alcoholic, you go over there. Okay, you smoke crack, you go over there. Okay, you do heroin, you go over there. Okay, you go to CA, you go to adult children of alcoholics. You do okay. So that's okay. That's okay. Because I think you're still working toward it. But the other thing that's not okay is to divide. We have to remember that we are doing this thing together, right? So any kind of indication of division, that's always a bad thing, right? Because then you're over there and you're over there. Like, I've been in rooms of recovery where the drug addicts and alcoholics are fighting amongst each other. And I'm like, that's like the dumbest thing ever. Why are you doing this, right? But it made sense to them because they live in that world of division. Like, well, no. Well, like it's just like one NA God and one AA God, which is like really dumb, right? So, leave it to the colonials to fight over, create something and then fight over it, right? So it's not really what we do here. We connect to those things. Here, write this down. We connect to those things that give us life. Right. We're not big on labels over here anyway. Right. We connect to those things that give us life. And when we connect to those things that give us life, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to run way over today, so I love you guys. So when we connect to those things that give us life, what do we have? Well, we have a life. What does that mean? That means we align ourselves, connect ourselves to those things that give us life. So air, water, fire, earth. Okay. Physical, spiritual things that give us life. Humility, love, truth, honesty, respect, wisdom, courage. Those are those things, seen and unseen, spiritual and physical. When we align ourselves with those, we realize because we can't align ourselves with truth and still smoke crack and drink at the same time. Can't do it, right? Right? So the fact is, once we align ourselves, then whatever that is, the self-soothing behavior just goes away, right? And like the other thing that I have with the rooms of recovery is they love to label. They love to label, divide and label. Okay, you're an addict. Okay, you have a disease. We're not diseased, right? We're not. We're not. We're just misaligned, but they need to do that because they love their labels. No, so, you know, so so when I walk into a room, I just say I'm a human. I address myself as a human, a very loving human, right? That probably shouldn't, do anything. I probably shouldn't drink or drugs, yeah. And because that's aligning myself with the truth. Like I don't go in there saying and like, because we have to be really mindful, careful about everything we say is a prayer. So when we start saying, "Oh, Wayne, I freaking did it for years," and said, "Well, because that's what they told me to do." And they said, "Well, you're a drug addict. You're an addict. You have this disease." So I was going around thinking like, "Oh yeah, I'm diseased. I'm totally diseased. I have a disease. I gotta do this. I gotta, it's like, and then the repeated behaviors, right, right." Whatever they were, whatever anti-life behaviors. But when the elders started talking about, well, be careful about what you talk about and what you say, particularly what you say and talk about yourself is really important. It's the biggest part of our recovery, that we are earth, that we are the medicine is one of the most powerful things that you can say. Right? That's the deal. That's the deal. Right. Right. Yeah. I love you, and that's the most loving thing that those elders ever said to me. I don't go in rooms anymore and claim that I'm anything other than human. Right? Right? So we align ourselves with those things, with the water, the fire, the flow, the prayers that go along with them. Right? The prayers of light and love. We know light and love come from every direction. So if we start labeling ourselves, then there's a direction which we won't understand, hear, see, feel. Right? Right. Because we pigeonhole ourselves into something we create and pigeonhole ourselves into something that we're not, right? We're human. We're beautiful human beings. Start there. Start there. Okay. Let me align myself with the water, with the air. And there's a sense of freedom there, right? And again, this is really about like living out of that colonial society, right? When what they do is they create the problem, right? The problem is separation, right? You're over there. Okay, you're Christian, you go over there, you're Catholic, okay, you're Jewish, you go behind there. Like you're all brothers. Well, God can tell you that you're all brothers and sisters, but you're fighting amongst each other. But we have to create a separation because we have to divide the people, right? But so the real power here is, what do we come here? We become here and we become empowered. We can't drink and become empowered at the same time. So once we align ourselves with this beautiful thing, right, then the drink and drug question, they just go away. They just disappear. And, we don't have to label ourselves diseased in order for that to disappear. That is freaking ridiculous. Right. We create something. We are something that they can't take away. That's the deal. I love you. That's the deal. That's the deal. We are something that they can't take away. We are the medicine. They can't take that. But that's empowering, the most empowering thing. And we are the medicine really implies the sacred hoop, right? Not just this little group on Facebook, not just, no. We are part of a much larger, that's the medicine that we're talking about. It's not Jamie Bear, it's not Daniela or Dwab, it's not any of it. It's not just that. It's all of us, right? So, they can't take that away, and that's what those colonial powers will never understand. They're so busy dividing us that we fight amongst it. We label and fight amongst each other, left, right, Democrat, this all this stupid stuff. Well, really, that's just a distraction to keep us what. But what we do when we align ourselves with this beautiful thing called life, then what we become empowered, and there's nothing. Once we become empowered, understand that power, there's nothing they can do to take it away, unless we give it away. And I don't give it away anymore. I don't give it away. I stand with those prayers. I stand with humility. I speak because those things protect me. Those beautiful things protect me. Oh. Okay, so actually, we're kind of running way over. We're just gonna forget that second. We keep greeting. No, we're gonna move on to the reading. Just 'cause I don't want to say in our second hour. I love you guys. So if you're new here, I love you. So please. So I'm not sure if we put Whispers from the Hollow Bone, September 29th. What we're going to do here is, here. There we go. Please, like if you don't have your copies, please go out and get your copies right here. There we go. There we go. Right here. They are both written by me. Through the Spirit, through the Great Spirit, through the teachings. They're short little meditations. And so what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to sit with them, pray with them, understand, listen to these beautiful gifts, spirits that they are. Each one is a beautiful spirit. From spirit, they are spirits. When we talk in loving terms, then we create something beautiful, right? That's a spirit. So when I say, that's why I say I love you, because that's a creation, right? There's something there that wasn't there before, so we're creating something beautiful. When we say we are the medicine, we are creating something beautiful, aligning ourselves with something beautiful, right? So that's what these are. So we're going to read them a couple times. Develop a genuine impression. It's really important that we understand that's not a finish line. That's not a good or bad thing. Right, wrong, good or bad. We leave that conversation at the door, right? We say no thank you, and we just leave that at the door. We have 25, 30 people here, so that means we're going to have 25, 30 different ideas and perspectives. But here, that's just the starting point. The magical thing is we do this every day. There's a beautiful alignment there. There's a beautiful, powerful alignment there. That means our thoughts, our prayers will become more in alignment with truth, love, humility. And that's when the magic happens. That's when that cosmic shift happens. They're already hearing what we're doing across the world, across the universe. That's what they can't figure out. They can't go, well, what's happening here? They don't understand. Like they call them quantum something, quantum mechanics, quantum chaos, something quantum, something. But they have to label it. But what we really know is that when we talk about love here, it changes things over there. That's just the deal. We already know that, right? They're just cloning the world, and the scientists are just figuring that out, right? So anyway, let's read it. There's so many notes on this. Okay, so Whispers. Okay. Oh, again, if we could have that volunteer to put that in the feed today. Here, okay. Okay. September 29th. Those things in this... Slow down, Stephen Bear. Those things in this world humanity thinks are wild, like animals and flowers, are all relatives and medicine to help guide us. Only in absolute humility can we learn from them. They're here to teach humanity how to act humanely. Unbelievable. Powerful. Like if we talked about this the rest of the year, it would not be a wasted year. Right? Okay. What does that mean to you? We're going to read this again, right? There's things in this world humanity thinks are wild, like animals and flowers are all relatives and medicine to help guide us. Only in absolute humility can we learn from them. They're here to teach humanity how to act humanely. Wow. 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 It's like... It is I just say, wow, would love to hear from you what this said. We're going to break this down and just know this thing is going to get even better. All right, those things, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting, like the words and how they say it and when they say it is really important, right? So that's, so those things, right? So, when we're, so they understand that we are part of the Great Spirit, right? Um, the Great Spirit, the trees, all these things, right? All these circles of life, they understand that we misunderstand, right? Write that down, right? Right. You know, when we grow up, right, part of our indigenous education was to make good relations. So we told stories about the trees and grandmother eagle and grandmother mole, great grandfather bear, right? Because it humanized them. It brought them into our greater understanding, right? But until we do that, we will call them things. And 90% of the colonial world, you know, found in the colonial world, right? They don't have good relations with, you know, with life, right? They don't, right? That's what the colonial worlds, they do. They cling to life, right? But they don't even know they're clinging, right? When you say other, there's already separation, right? It is based on an adversarial world, right? Up into including Mother Earth is not a relative, she's a resource. That's a big deal, right? But if we saw, you know, it's a really sick society that uses mother for its own financial benefit only, and that's really where we're at. What we're doing here is we're creating life, right? So, so the Great Spirit understands what we are doing here. So it uses the language to catch our attention. It caught my attention this morning because I don't like to be called any of my relatives a thing, because you are not a thing. Thomas is not a thing. My friends, you're not a thing, you're a relative. Okay, the trees, you're not a thing, you're a relative. It's the same thing, right? The water isn't a thing, it's a relative. The water isn't life, it's a thing. It's life, sorry, life. It's what offers us life, right? So it ceases no longer to be a thing. But you know, it really caught my attention because that's a language that I don't use anymore. So they're switching up the languages here, right? Really, that's what they're doing. Okay, so those things. So they're IDing that. They're IDing the fact. They're calling us out here. Okay, so you call them things, but we're going to switch that. And they switch it right here, right before us. Right. So watch this beautiful feeling. Like as we went through this, I felt this beautiful power flow through. And I want you all to feel that beautiful, beautiful power. Right. So that's like, but you know, this, so it's really the letters, the words, the feeling, the power, are, the emotions are actually transitioning as we read this. Feel this and understand. So we're going to read this one more time. There's things, there's things in this world humanity thinks are wild. Okay, just like that. Like animals and flowers are all relatives and medicine to help guide us. That's the beautiful transition. That's the whole. That's the teaching behind the teaching right there. That's you know you know, like if we want to relate it to the question of the day, what is you know what is the Red Road program of recovery? That's it. That's it. You know, right? That's it. So there's things in this world, humanity, okay, they're specifically calling us out. They're specifically, okay, they're identifying that there's a problem there, right? There's an issue there. There's a misalignment there. To speak really gently, they're saying you're misaligned, right? Right? You are misaligned. Okay. Things are wild. Okay. Circle the word thinks. Don't cross it out. Just above it in, you know, parentheses. Um, you know, there has to be an alignment there. So like in your notes, put alignment there. Right. Think / alignment. Right. So that's what we're going to. Right. Our thinking. Right. So there's actions, there's doing, there's prayers, and then there's thinking, right? And in the colonial world, like they're all separate, but really one reflects the others, right? So they're really saying they're reflecting the actions of what? Humanity, right? So the thinking follows the action, action follows the thinking, like no matter what that is, they follow each other, right? And that's just the deal. Okay, things are wild. Okay, like animals and flowers. Um, let's kind of move ahead, Okay, we're really going to have to move forward. Okay, so like animals um, are all. Let's go to all relatives. Let's kind of fast forward to all relatives, right? So wild animals, that's like the other part of the circle that humanity is forgetting. It's like all other parts of the circle, like like humanity thinks that we are the circle of life, right? Just the two legs, right? No, no, and it really comes from that patriarchy thinking, and it's just contrast message. So it comes from that patriarchy thinking that humans are up here and that everybody else is down here, all of the flowers and when really when really we know that this is the circle of life. This is why the grandmothers did this. This is why it's so important. I didn't make this up. This is brought to you by I say brought to you by the grandmother, sponsored by the grandmother. So yeah, no. This is all of us. You see how beautiful and powerful that is? I feel so relaxed. I feel so a part of when I know that the flowers are beautiful and I'm part of it. Like I feel like, wow, that's awesome. But it took me a minute to get there, right? And here's what really helped me in that transition, and we're going to bring in just remember the question. So what is like a program of recovery, the red road. So here's something that really helped me, and we're just going to run way over today. That's just so um, I was really into like recovery when I struggled and I was clumsy. I liked it all that, right? So and so I would go into a meeting thinking that I was being spiritual, and I said I'm struggling. Right, right. And so guess what happened at the end of that conversation? I was still struggling. Right? You have to be really mindful. I thought I was telling the truth, but in actuality, I was creating my environment. I was struggling. Right? So grandfather said, don't say that anymore. Go to the flower. And this is, as Pops would say, a gentle course correction, right? So let's do a gentle course correction, right? And that you can write down. That's a Pops-ism. I love Pops. So he says, go to the flower and ask the flower how to bloom. And I thought it was freaking nuts. I said, well, yeah, but yeah, I love you, Tony, and this is just like, but I did it. I was in enough emotional and spiritual pain that I did it. Right? So we went out to Brighton Seminole Reservation, and flowers out there, right? So I would just sit by a flower, I'd offer, and I'd pray, and I'd sit with them, right? You know. And over time, I developed this sense of calm and peace, right? And so I went to Tony and I said, "What? I don't know what's going on here." But they said that's the message, that the calm and peace is a place of beauty, that you already are. So the flower's showing you that you already are all these beautiful things. And I go like tears running down my eyes, like how could that be? Like but we don't know if we don't know what we don't know until we sit there and we actually do this thing, right? So I had to show up, I had to be present, I had to be all in. This is a practice in being all in, being present with those beautiful things that give us life that the other world just doesn't tell us about. Doesn't even mention, tell us, or even tell us how to do it. They indoctrinate us into this other education, which is really uh, which is really regurgitation of the slight truth that they give us, right? But in spiritual realms, it has nothing to do with life, right? So we come here. That's why we sit with the water. That's why we sit with the fire. That's why it's so, that's why the water just feels so good in the presence of water. There's a calm and peace that I haven't found anywhere else until I go back to the water. And the fire is a completely different thing, but it's still beautiful. It's mesmerizing. We all understand it. Going through walking in the woods, going on the hike, sitting in the park, that's mesmerizing. and it's not a fleeting moment. It's a part of us that we need to realize that we are beautiful, powerful people, and that we need to be aligned with this beautiful, powerful thing called life, right? And again, once we do it, once we do this, we can never unlearn it. We would physically have to alter our state of mind, right, to forget how to do it. But once we understand it, it stays with us forever. And that's the empowering thing. And that's what the colonial powers of the world, they don't want us to know. But what we do here is when we celebrate life and those things that give us life, then it creates something new within us that they can't take away. That's the long and the short of it. Okay. We have to be here. Like animals and flowers are all relatives and medicine to help us. They're all medicine, right? So we have to get out of that colonial thing, kind of like, the drugstore, pharmaceutical kind of thing. That's something else, right? That's something else. The medicine is the sunrise. We are the sunrise. The medicine is welcoming, and during that, and this is part of that ceremony. This is part of, and the 30-day challenges really understand this, right? The 30-day challenges. So when we go to the sunrise, we make our offerings, right? We make our offerings. We make that prayerful intent. We visualize. We talked about this the other day. We visualize the returning of the ancestors, right? The buffalo, the bears, and the beavers, the butterflies, the bees, all these beautiful, we become that, right? Like it's not like a tourist thing when we go there and we go, okay, we're running with the buffalo now, right? No. That is already a part of us, right? That is already a part of us. So, it says all relatives, right? So we're clear about all relatives, right? Both seen and unseen, right? Sunrise, we just talked about that. Okay. Oh, God. Okay, so just looking at time. To help. Okay, let's circle help here. Circling your book, help. Help guide us. Guide us is like indicate a way, to show the way, to direct influence, right? And I would say to align and to connect, guide and to connect and to guide to life, right next to that. There you go. There's a pen to align ourselves with, to align us. Who's the us? This is really, there's so much information here. This is a really long, to guide us. Who is the us that they're talking about? Is it just the two-legged? No. The sacred hoop to guide us. When we are here to create a better life, we are here to create a stronger sacred hoop. That's the us that they're talking about. So not just us, the two-legged, right? In a small sense, that's what they're talking about, but in a much larger sense, when we talk about life, then that's what we're talking about. Okay. Here's where it really gets good, right? Right. And I'm not a big absolute guy. That's a Pops-ism. That's a Tony-ism. Rarely do we talk in absolutes, but here, not only are they talking in absolutes, but they're only in absolute. So 2 words, only and absolute. That's pretty serious. Write that down. This is a guide to a better life, right? That's what they're saying. Only in absolute. That's powerful. That's powerful. They is, that's like a willow beaten. Some of us know like what a willow beaten is. Like that's like a spiritual willow beaten. Right there it says when grandma says go pick your willow out. Right, that's the kind of thing. It says only in absolute. What? Humility. What does that mean? Oh my God, absolute. This just got bigger, better, more powerful. Absolute humility. What does that mean? It means the sacred hoop. It means healing. It means connection. It means alignment, right? But we can't get there because we live in a world that's always constantly separate. They will separate us to death. That's what they do. That's And again, this is not a good or bad thing. This is just contrast medicine, which we just simply say over here in the spiritual world, no, thank you. That's all we say. No, thank you. The circus has left the town type thing, right? I used to believe in the circus. The circus used to tell me what to do, like what to jump, what to believe in, how high to jump, where to go on Tuesdays, where to go on Mondays. The part of that circus is called, Wayne, you're a disease, right? You're in recovery, so you have a disease. So of course I'm like, yeah, I'm diseased, yeah. My thinking is disease. I am a disease. Anything to keep us separated from what? This powerful thing called the life. So basically at one point I said, no thank you, I'm human. And I want to connect to all those beautiful things that give me life. And I don't need a disease to help me do that. I don't need that. I need alignment. I don't need a disease. I need alignment. You see how it's like that? Only an absolute. This is a must do. We must walk this way if we want to live a good life, right? If we don't walk in absolute, we will absolutely walk out of alignment. That means create situations which will separate us, which will kill us. That's how polarizing this is. If we don't do it, then other things will happen. We'll kill each other and kill ourselves. And that's the same thing, right? Suicide. That means we'll drink again. Absolute. That means if you're in a 12-step program, do the 12 steps. You're absolutely, you won't change. That's what that means. You won't change. But the beautiful thing is here, is if we do the work today, we humble ourselves today, we walk in humility, then we have that beautiful thing, then this beautiful thing called life comes in. That's the beauty of this thing. It responds. Here, write this out. The universe, Mother Earth, humility responds right away. You don't have to be like, okay, I'm humble here. Okay, I'm waiting around. No, it happens instantaneously. That means you get better right here, right now. That's what that means. That's what that absolute, and we're just talking about absolute, I love you. That's an absolute. That's an absolute. We are the medicine. That's an absolute. The sacred hoop. That's an absolute. And they're trying to be a part of all these things. We absolute have to show up. We have to actually walk this way. Absolutely have to walk with humility. And at the end of the day, this humility, I love you, absolute humility will protect us at the end of the day. They will be our guides. It tells us here, it's our guide. It's our way to a better life. That's what they're saying here. It's a guide. They will be our protectors. We're not unprotected with humility. That's a colonialism. When I'm humble, then I feel vulnerable. No. That means I'm stepping into my power, which is our power. When I step into the sacred hoop of life, that is my power, absolutely powerful. I become empowered because I have all these beautiful relatives here protecting me. Like, you don't think that, like, if I don't make a good thing with good relative with the trees, with the very things that give me breath, that they won't sit here and protect me. No, they won't. They will. And like, how will they do that? They will do that absolutely. When we pray, it absolutely helps us. You don't need to feel scared or lonely anymore. That's the thing. That's the powerful thing. Right? And that's how beautiful this thing is. How absolutely powerful. Write that down. Absolutely powerful this thing is. Right? But that world, the colonial world, will not teach you these ways. In fact, they destroyed the people and the culture that kept these ways. What does that tell you? They tried and destroyed to kill me. What does that tell you about what the power that we know, what we're connected to as indigenous people up Turtle Island? If they kill the things that give us power, then what are they doing? Right, right. And when you understand this, when you walk with us, when we maintain this good place, this beautiful place of light and love, there's no other place for us to go than happiness and strength. Right, and that's an absolute. And it says, and I should probably get back to the reading. It says, can, you know, only in absolute humility can we. Okay, there it is. Circle that. We, us, and our. That's beautiful. Again, that's in reference to we are the medicine, and not just this Facebook online thing, but the sacred hoop of life. So I wanted to write, we are the medicine, sacred hoop of life. That's we're part of that. So it's not just we are the, not just like a little group like this. No, we're part of a much. We are a big part, powerful group. And what we are doing here, if you're sitting here, if you're listening to this, you are part of this, whether you like it, understand it or not. We are empowering these beautiful things, right? We are empowering, right? There's a beautiful alignment here, and again, with that alignment, guess what? Absolutely changed the world. Write that down. We changed spiritual, emotion, mental, and like we're not, we're gonna run over. We've already run over. So, okay, humility, 1 of the 7. Okay, so they're talking about humility, but it's not limited to, right, the other sacred 17. Because, Grandfather Tony, and here's the reason why Grandfather Tony started with humility, because that's with a humble understanding that we are part of all, right? Humble understanding, right? And, it goes to, and then he taught me through truth and love and all this, right? That was just his way. If you have another way, that's okay. Okay. They are all here to teach. Okay. So teach, absolute, guide, all, only, learn. It's all the same thing, right? It's all the same thing. They are repeating words from different directions to mean the same thing. Like if you look at this, like if you diagram this out, and I'm not a big diagram guy, but here, I'll show you. Like this is what that looks like, right? I sit here before the live, and I'm like, okay, let's look. And this is just some beautiful things. Okay, okay. Here to teach. Again, alignment to connect to. Right. There's an elder that I'm sitting with now, and he says, well, we are already humility. We've just forgotten, right? This humility, we are already the fire. It's already within us, right? The heartbeat is that fire. So this is a way that we represent that. There's things already within us, right? The fire, the first fire at the center of the universe, it's not way over there. It's not beyond sight or sound. It's already within us. It's the boom, 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 boom. There's a spark of light. Boom, boom, boom. That's the first fire. So we are all have that beautiful thing, that beautiful fire from the center of. We already have that, right? We just have to recognize that we are that. And this is the teaching, this is the understanding that we are. So this whole idea, the whole idea behind this is to, to again, understand that we are already part of this beautiful thing. They, only in absolute humility can we learn from them, and all these medicines, whether it's the four-legged, the standing, the fish, air, the water, they are all here to teach us what humility. Right? They're specifically talking about humility. They're all here to teach humanity. Again, they're calling us out how to act, behave in a specific manner, to align ourselves With what? With life. Write this down. With life. Life is most important. Without life, what do we have? Right? We have separation. We have wars. We have opinions. We have judgments. We have comparisons. All these things, right? They're the same thing. Drinking is the same thing as comparison. It's all the same, and it all comes from this anti-life thing. But when we walk in humility, that's the game changer. That means we don't have to drink anymore. That means we don't have to judge anymore. That means we don't have to have any. It's all the same thing. It isn't any different, right? That means when we truly understand it, that means we can treat people kindly, no matter what. Use kind words, no matter what. That means we are the peacemakers, no matter what. No matter what they do to us, we still use kind words. But that's what that means. Right? That's what that means. And that's use kind words. Just sit with that a second. Right? This is how we evolve, right? This is how, as Potker say, that beautiful, gentle course correction, right? Right. Beautiful, gentle. This is how we become better humans, right? How many times did I sit in a lodge and I hear that from the elders? We are here to be better human beings, right? And I could never figure out, especially early in my walk, well, how do we do that? Like, how do I go through life not drinking or shooting something in my arms, right? I don't know how to do that, right? But the more I align myself with these beautiful truths, the more I understand. The more I understood, the more if you never sat and listened to a flower, you have really missed like a really beautiful thing, right? You just have never sat and listened to the sounds and the symphonies of the sunrise, you have missed. And it's there waiting for you. All this life is waiting there for you. So don't think life is passing you by when you're sitting here doing nothing. When life is all around you, connect to this beautiful life. And guess what? You will have a beautiful life. That's what they're saying here. But then the bottom line is the teaching behind the teaching is they want you to have a beautiful, powerful life, empowered life. We don't have to drink or separate or be sad or depressed. We don't have to do that anymore. That we can live in this beautiful thing, and that we can be a part of this beautiful life. That's what they're telling us here. That's exactly what they're telling us. But so now this is not a test like the elder that I'm sitting with. He taught this is not a test. This is a choice whether you really want to do this, right? The ceremony may end, but the ceremony in you. So you choose. Yeah. So you choose now what you want to do. So don't tell me that life is treating you bad when you make poor choices, right? And that's the majority. It's like that vicious cycle. Well, I'm making poor choices, and life is treating me bad. There's a demon out there. Oh, that, yeah. So the paranoia sets in. Oh, I'm looking at all these things. All these things are happening to me. But when we live in humility, that changes to what is life doing for me instead of what life is doing to me. That's the change right there. Right. That's the beautiful change that we don't have to live in that way of life. Look at what is life to me. Look how poor I am, right? People do that all the time. Look how poor I am. I have no money. Okay, that's a reflection of the way that you're living in this world. Why don't you live in this world a little differently, living in this beautiful thing called abundance, and then abundance has to come because that's natural law right there. Abundance and financial abundance. A lot of people have financial abundance. Well, start living spiritually and financially, and then everything else will follow. That's the deal, right? That's the deal. People say, "Oh God, I have no," there's somebody I talk to, and she'll tell me, "Oh God, I have no money. I can't do this. I can't do that." Well, okay. Well, then, if you're living a spiritual life, that's telling me exactly how they're living their spiritual life, right? Start living. So start sharing, start offering, start empowering others. That's living a powerful life, right? But if you're sitting in a room not doing anything, then you get what you get at the end of the day. Start empowering these people. Empower here. Do something online. Share what we are doing here. Do a little short video. And there's people, like there's a person out there that wants to do what I do. And I said, well, what? You can do something like I do, but you have to do it the way the Spirit flows through you. You can't do it the way I do, you know. But I'm saying I'm encouraging you to do that, right? You know, I'm encouraging, you know, and for me, it's just a different flower blooming, and I will support you during that. There's no competition or comparison here. I don't want that. That's not a part of my place of humility. Like if I start saying, oh, well, you know, you're doing We Are the Medicine, and I'm, you know, I started first, and then it's like kind of like this, and then, you know, it's like that creates that division. I'm not here. I'm here to encourage you. Here, let's do it. Yeah, do it, you know, create something beautiful. There's a new flower there. That's part of that beautiful thing. If you want to live in abundance, so start living in abundance, then, right? And abundance begins with connecting to all life. If you're not connecting to all life, then, you know, like if you go into that one place on Sunday and expect to be living a good life, then I don't know how much you're going to be connected to, and how much you're really going to get out of it, right? So, anyway, I love you. We're going to close it out. I'm not playing this, by the way. This is coming from the Standing Nation, by the way. So close your eyes. Let's go to that beautiful place of abundance. Let's go to that beautiful place of happiness. Let's sit next to that flower. Imagine it. We have to imagine in her what we imagine here, we see out there. Right. Right. So imagine sitting with the buffalo herd and running with the herd. Imagine sitting with a beautiful field of flowers and by that river and by all those beautiful things. This is how we connect. That is a place of humility. It's not a place of imagination, as much as it is a place of humility. And once we do that, we realize that we are creating something beautiful, not only outside within us, what we see, but what we feel and think inside. I love you. All right, kept it a little short. So, this ceremony may end, but the ceremony inside you does not end. That's what the reading is about today. Take what we lived here, learned here, loved here, and listened to here. Take it out to the four winds. It's no good to be all spiritual here. If we don't take it out there. That means not only hit that share button. That means go out. That means hit that share button. Share that replace people, organizations, group, institutions. That's what that means. We share the message. If you're sitting in a circle, if you're listening, you are part of the message here. That's what that means. That means the circle medicine, right? Do not make this about me. Make this about us. And more importantly, put it right here. Like if it doesn't go here, then it won't go to our families, it won't go to our friends, it won't go to our co-workers, it won't go to our communities, it won't go to our nation. We won't be living full circle. I love you. My name is Kanipa Whitmakwa, Standing Bear. And no one said that they love you today. I love you very much.